Clinton, a record-breaking window. What have you made of its entirety?
This has been one of the best windows ever, if not the best window. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been amazing working with special people, with my special Soccer Saturday people, and you, and Emma. It's been brilliant. But now, all jokes aside, the transfers have been unbelievable. This is going to be the best window ever.
I think one of the most talked about things of this window is player power. Right, we've seen it with Wirtz, we've seen it with Isak. Chris, is this a view of what's still to come?
It's a worry though, because you've obviously signed a contract and, clubs will think that they've got players tied up, but the reality is if you're going to go more or less say you're not going to play and behave the way that some of them have this transfer window, it would be worrying for football, because the reality is, you look at Isak and he's a prime example. Newcastle fans are obviously, they're unhappy with him, but they're signing someone who's done exactly what Isak's done to them. So it is a worry now. I would say it would be a worry going forward for football, that players can more or less just do what they want. Yeah. So I think there might be something that has to be put in there, because at the end of the day, if they're paying your wages, you've got to turn up for your work. Yeah. You've got to do it properly. And as I said earlier on, I always feel as if when you leave a football club, you should be able to go back through the front doors of the stadium or the training ground in years to come, and neither of those two will be able to do that in the future. Yeah,
and from a club perspective, Sue, do you think, Liverpool, they've kind of played this game almost, they've looked at it throughout the whole window, they've gone out there, they signed Ekitike to begin with, everyone thought that was because Isak didn't want to come to them. They've kept on that case. Yeah. Has their strategy paid off? Because also, you look at the Marc Guehi case, they've kind of gone a similar route, and will that happen?
Yeah, I think when you look at Liverpool, you look that they obviously lost a lot of goals, they lost a lot of quality with the players that went out. They've brought in some real quality, some real sort of strength and depth. And when you look in those attacking areas, I looked at them last season, they had sort of 5 or 6 players to fit into that sort of front three, if you like. And Salah was nailed on, and then the other two, it was a case of rotating. You now add Isak to that line, up that front line, and you just think, wow.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. And, obviously they want to go deep into competition, so they want to be able to rotate. And, I think the only other one, obviously, was the centre-half. I think with Kwanzaa going out, you felt that they needed to just maybe bring in another one, and Marc Guehi obviously would have added that real quality. So if that still does go over the line, Clinton's saying absolutely not, then you would just say, what a perfect window for them.
Yeah, you're adamant it's still not happening. I've got to do it. I've got to ask straight down the line, who's had the best window?
Ooh.
As it is right now, okay? So as it is right now, obviously it's still deals that are getting done.
Without Guehi and Isak.
I was going to say, right? Well, look, Isak's done. Isak's done. Without Guehi. So go on, Michael, I'll start with you.
I have to say Liverpool. Yeah. I think Ekitike, Isak's going to happen. Kirkus coming in, Wirtz coming in. Frimpong, they had to replace Trent, but you got Szoboszlai, who played there over the last couple of games, who's been magnificent. So I think you have to say Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, they've spent an awful lot of money. So you expect quality when you bring in, but you bring in top players in.
Okay, Sue, what about yourself?
I think Arsenal have had a very good window. I also think Newcastle, when you look, yes, they've lost Isak, but I think who they've brought in. But I'd probably still have to go Liverpool.
Okay, Chris?
I'm saying Arsenal. There was positions last year that they were weak in and they had to strengthen. They've done that, and they'll fancy their chances this year. You would want them to win.
Why not? Yeah.
To win.
Avoided what they brought in to win the league.
Well, I think they've been close the last couple of seasons. Stating the obvious, everybody said if they had a striker a few seasons over those 2 or 3 seasons that they've been runners-up, that they would have been league champions. So you look at it, and I think that signing of Gyökeres, if they can create the chances that the opportunities that he needs, he can finish. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's not as if because you hear a lot of people will say that the Premier League and the goals are still the same size. Yeah. If he's in a team that's going to create opportunities, they don't move the goals, and if you create those chances for him, he'll take them. It might take him a little bit of time to get settled, but he will score goals.
I'd say Liverpool and Arsenal, but I'd probably just sway towards Liverpool. Arsenal have had a good window. It makes it even better, the signing of Eze. Eze is the truth. He is I like that word. He's the real deal. And Boyd's right, he will score goals because Eze will create for him. He's got players like Saka, Odegaard, if he can get back to his best, how he was a few seasons ago, and Eze, they'll create chances. So that's why I say Arsenal are definitely in that title mix. But if Liverpool get Isak and Marc Guehi, that's the best window.
You just said Guehi is not gone.
Yeah, if you never know. I'm hoping.
Well, that was my second question was going to be. I'll let you do it. Who's to be concerned? Who as a club right now are going?
I think.
Should we have done more?
Fulham.
But Fulham look like they've brought in some players. I mean, today they brought in some decent players.
Yeah,
but
I think for Fulham as well, they had a good enough squad last year. They've not really lost it,
Yeah.
either. But looking at it, I would be worried if Brentford.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've brought players in, but the goals have lost. It's very difficult to replace them. You're then looking at Wolves as well. You're not going to fear for them.
I think it was vital for them to hold on to Strand Larsen.
Yeah. But when you look at Leeds, have obviously spent a fortune. The three teams coming up have spent a fortune. But I think Sunderland, good result at the weekend again.
Yeah.
Home form is going to be key for them. So you look at the teams that they've given themselves an opportunity. But I do think. The two teams that we've mentioned there, they're a lot weaker. That will give, the promoted teams an opportunity to stay in the league this year. Whereas in years going by, you never thought that was going to be the case. So, it will be tight down there.
And Palace will be all right.
I was just about to say, what about Palace?
You're worried, you're worried about Eze and losing Marc Guehi. We don't know what's going to happen, but they'll be all right because...
Liverpool news. Alexander Isak, teammate issues denial as Reds face Marc Guehi. Battle Liverpool have made a fast start to the new Premier League season and will hope they can continue in the same vein when their players return after international duty. Liverpool have gone into the international break atop the Premier League table. The reigning champions have a 100% record so far and will be able to add new record signing Alexander Isak into the mix when they return. Arne Slot's Reds still have room for improvement, with just one clean sheet across those first 3 matches. They also missed out on target Marc Guehi on deadline day, potentially leaving young centre-back Giovanni Leone with a bigger role to play than first anticipated. Next up for Slot's team is a trip to Burnley. The Clarets won their first home league game against fellow promoted side Sunderland, but lost their away outings against Tottenham and Manchester United. Liverpool did the double over the same opponents in the 2023-24 season, winning 2 at Turf Moor and 3-1 at Anfield. Their last away defeat against the same opposition came almost a decade ago, early in the 2016-17 season. While many members of Slot's squad remain away with their national side, there has been more discussion of the Isak deal. Here are Mirror Football's latest lines from around Anfield. Isak teammate gives verdict Newcastle defender Emil Kraft has rubbished suggestions the Alexander Isak transfer saga caused a rift in the Magpies dressing room. Kraft is an international, teammate of Isak with Sweden, and maintains there's no bad blood. There were many who wanted to see Alex stay, but you understand how football works, Kraft told Sportbladet via Liverpool.com. I wish him all the best in the future. For me, Alex is not just a footballer, but a close friend, too. The media wrote that the locker room would be divided. That is certainly not true. Football players understand football players, and we can only wish him the best of luck. As Anthony Elanga said, it has been very chill. No one has said or done anything. It is just taken out of thin air. You understand his and the club's situation. Of course, they would have wanted to keep him. He is an incredibly good football player. Reds braced for Guehi. Battle Liverpool's failure to sign Marc Guehi on transfer deadline day could pave the way for a multi-way battle for the centre-back. The suggestions so far have been that Guehi would still favor an Anfield move, but he could yet be tempted by the opportunity to play overseas. According to the Daily Star, Liverpool's Premier League rivals Manchester City are ready to push for Guehi if the England star wants to stay in his home country. They aren't the only potential suitors, though, with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich also linked. Guehi will be free to leave Crystal Palace for nothing next summer, with the centre-back not expected to extend his contract. It remains to be seen whether Liverpool attempt a cut-price January move before then. Mamardashvili on the winning side, Liverpool goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili was part of a Georgia side which claimed an important victory over Bulgaria on Sunday. Willy Sagnol's team ran out 3-0 winners in Tbilisi, with Paris Saint-Germain star Kvicha Kvaratskhelia among the goals. The win allowed Georgia to bounce back after losing 3-2 at home to Turkey in their first qualifier. Next up for them is a trip to Spain in October as they look to avenge their Euro 2024 elimination against La Roja. A number of other Liverpool players are in international action on Monday. Among them are Andy Robertson, part of a Scotland squad away in Belarus, and Giovanni Leoni, who could make his senior Italy debut against Israel. Liverpool's season predicted, Premier League glory, Florian Wirtz success, Arne Slot's Liverpool has made a perfect start to the 2025-26 Premier League season, winning all 3 of its opening games, and is expected to be in the mix for the title. With the first international break of the new Premier League season upon us, there's a moment to look back on Liverpool's opening few games of the campaign. The Reds entered the season determined to retain their crown and have been busy in the transfer market to support that ambition. Players such as Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, and Jeremy Frimpong will be accompanied by deadline day acquisition Alexander Isak following the international break. The former Newcastle striker sealed a switch to Anfield before linking up with the Sweden national team. Despite the absence of the forward from its squad, Liverpool has begun the season flawlessly under Arne Slot in terms of results. Late victories against Bournemouth and Newcastle were succeeded by a 1-0 triumph over title rival Arsenal last weekend. This means that Slot's players have secured all 9 points on offer from their opening 3 matches. It sees them perched at the summit of the table as the sole remaining side with a perfect record. As always, the 2025-26 campaign is anticipated to deliver some surprises and drama throughout. But what might the season resemble when May arrives? Here's an examination of some forecasts made by pundits in recent weeks. Title defense. Speaking to the Daily Mail before the season, former Liverpool striker Peter Crouch backed his former club to retain the title this time around. I think they've signed well. I think they won it at a canter last year, he said. I think the other teams have closed the gap well, but I think Liverpool will have just enough, especially if they sign one more center forward. Adding Isak to the list would seal the deal. Speaking to BBC Sport before the season, 21 of the 33 pundits named Liverpool as their title winners. One of those was former Premier League striker Troy Deeney, who explained, Liverpool have got already better in every area. I know they have lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, but Jeremy Frimpong is just as good at right back. Not with his passing range, but they don't need that with the other players they have got. Up front, they won the league last year without having an out-and-out number 9. They have still got Mohamed Salah and now have Hugo Ekitike and potentially Isak too. Wayne Rooney was in agreement. I already have Liverpool as favorites to win the Premier League, but if Isak comes in, then they are going to be unstoppable. A big thing was them replacing Alexander-Arnold because a lot of their chances and goals came from that right side. But I think Frimpong has got the attributes to go and fill that. Outstanding players. As part of his predictions, Crouch also named 2 Liverpool players who could be outstanding in the Premier League this season. He named Mo Salah as his Golden Boot winner, with Florian Wirtz as his player of the season. On the Golden Boot, he said, I think it's between 2, Erling Haaland and Mo Salah, but I'm going to go for Salah. I think it'll be someone from the winning team, and I think Liverpool are going to win the league. And on the player of the season, I also think the player of the season will come from the winning team, so I'm going to go with Florian Wirtz. I think he'll be class this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Florian Wirtz, impact. Speaking of Wirtz, he has also been singled out by former Liverpool legend Robbie Fowler as the player to keep an eye on this campaign. Chatting to TalkSport ahead of the season's kickoff, he remarked, I think he's a player Liverpool have lacked. He is a player who can unlock defenses. I know it's tongue-in-cheek saying you put your neck on the line because they've spent 100 million, but he's been prolific. His assist record at Leverkusen has been outstanding. He's been one of the top players for Germany. There's no guarantee he's going to set the Premier League alight, but he's a player I want to see. He's an exciting player, and I can't wait to see him.